It's on!
Hello, and we're on. Welcome to Laughing Places, Disney Parks Talk Live. I'm the site's co-founder, Rebecca Mosley. Over there is my husband, Doobie. We just came back from a trip, so we are tired, but how you doing, Doobie?
I am doing just swell. It's always fun to get out of here and do some fun stuff. And what a trip this was. I think this was our first trio trip. As my son said, reminded us on our way home from the airport this morning, we took a boat, we took a train, we took a plane, we took a car. It was a fantastic trip. Disney cruise, followed by Disney World, followed by Disneyland with the Bright Line trip in the middle of that. So it was a fantastic trip. We were out until about midnight last night watching World of Color and getting back to our hotel. And then a 4:30 a.m. wake up to get back so I could go to work today. And here we are.
And while we were gone, there was so much happening in the world of Disney. And thankfully, we had Jeremiah over on the East Coast keeping everybody up to date. How you doing, Jeremiah?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been busy and yeah. Let's talk about Muppets. Let's talk about monsters. Let's talk about D23. Hey, nothing happened really. Oh, and Christmas is right around the corner.
Speaking of, do we need to talk about your shirt?
We don't have to, but yes, I always like to talk about my amazing shirts that are provided by Roosevelt's. This is one of their Christmas ones from way long ago, whole whopping last year. So,
wow. And we have Mike Celestino with us as well, who keeps us informed on things happening on the West Coast. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm currently on the West Coast, but happy to be here otherwise.
Well, let's see. I guess the big news that happened while we were, it's hard to pick, but I'm going to start with the fun news.
Yes, I think so. I hope you mean the Disney Treasure. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So the Disney Treasure had its christening while we were away. Doobie, what do you want to share about that before I jump in?
So like you said, the Disney Treasure is now in America. It had its christening. We are so lucky. We happened to be in the Bahamas when the Disney Treasure made its first trip to the Bahamas. It was not a revenue trip. It just, I'm not sure why it was there, but it had to go to the Bahamas for some reason or another. And we happened to be docked there at the same time. So we got to see the treasure in person, which was kind of cool. This was pre-christening. We were on the Dream as it made its way to the Bahamas. Got a horn battle here. Rebecca's going to play for you.
Am I? Okay, we'll see.
So, but my colleague, there you go. So I believe that. Okay, whole new world from the Disney Store. I believe that was last Friday. We were at Nassau, and the treasure came by, and we got to spend the day docked next to it. We were on the Dream.
Let's talk about a walk you did, Doobie.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. But following that, it went to New York, and it had its christening, which you saw some. Dude, Disney knows how to put on a drone show. If only they would decide to do it at Disneyland or a Disney World theme park. And so Alex and Benji were at the christening, and then the next day they actually got to walk on the ship. And so we have just a ton of content, videos, and pictures from the ship itself, which, you know, part of me doesn't want to look at because I don't want to be spoiled. But then the other part of me realizes I don't even have a trip booked on the treasure. Maybe I'll never get there. So let's go ahead and look at these pictures. And I got to say, Jeremiah, put that hand down. It's part of your job. You're salaried now. It's part of your job.
I'll see it in 2 weeks.
Part of your job now, man. You don't get to hide.
I won't make them big, so you won't really see them. But yeah, we've got tons of videos right here on this YouTube channel. A lot of articles with photos from the team. Yeah, really. I think overall, a lot of the reaction I've heard about this ship is that even though it kind of layout wise a clone of the Wish, the spaces are just connecting with people more. There's a lot more excitement about the Haunted Mansion space than there has been for
Mike's in
the
trouble.
Star Wars lounge.
You okay, Mike?
I was just readjusting, trying to get comfortable here.
Mike's taking a nap.
I'm
So,
worried.
yeah, so we,
Like this hand is going to come off the side and grab Mike. I'm very terrified. I am with those people. So I don't know if you have the Grand Hall, the Great Hall, the Grand Hall handy, but it is spectacular. And what I really like is it's so different, not just from the Wish, but from anything. They've really gone, show me another cruise ship anywhere that's going to have a chandelier, anything like this, or any space at all. That chandelier is just different. The flying carpet and everything in the Grand Hall is just different. All the spaces are just so different, not only from the Wish, but from almost anything that we see in Disney parks or other cruise ships. So I'm really excited for the look they've gone for. Our guys did a great job getting tons of pictures for it. You can go check out. If you just go to Laughing Place, there's a link that says Disney Treasure Preview, and it takes you to all the coverage from the Coco show, which Rebecca was showing you some tweets from just a moment ago.
Jeremiah, you're going to be heading to the Treasure. What are you most looking forward to in person yourself? Like, what's the top three that you're aware are out there? What are you eager to see?
Oh, the Haunted Mansion parlor is absolutely number one, and that's saying a lot because the Periscope is when they announced that, and I got to see it in virtual reality. I'm a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea fan, so that's really cool. But all the lounges look amazing. I mean, yes, everything's been spoiled. Disney did a great job of making sure they have videos of everything on all of their socials, not to mention everything that we have, which, hey, it's going to make it easy for me next week or 2 weeks. But it all looks great. I'm looking forward to the Coco restaurant and the changes to the Marvel. Like, that's one that I've thankfully been spoiler free on, but Coco, the little bit I've seen, it looks very interesting. But my first stop will definitely be Haunted Mansion.
It's a Groot remix. Hate to spoil it for you, but the show
I know.
Okay.
If you look at our YouTube,
you didn't even mention the Skipper location, the Jungle Cruise location.
I looked at that, and that was one that I watched our video on, and it's a lounge. I don't drink. I just like with the Tiana's lounge, where in the same spot on the Wish, it's nice, but it's something I'll walk into, take a couple pictures of, and then just kind of like go, okay, I'll go hang out either inside Haunted Mansion or up at Periscope.
Okay. The Jumbo Suites is another location. I'm a big fan of the sweet treats that they put on. I had a great. Did I end up getting a shake? Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I had a great shake at the Inside Out themed one on the Dream, and so this one has got to be themed as Utopia, and it just looks very fun. So great for that. So our guys were on. They just got to walk on the ship. They didn't actually get to go anywhere. I don't think it counts for their Castaway Club count when you just get on the ship and get off. So Jeremiah, though, as you said, in a couple of weeks, you're actually going to be sailing.
Yes, I will be with our CEO and Alex, and I will be enjoying that. And as I talked with our CEO, I was like, really, is there anything left that I have to cover? And he goes, Coco. But, my job is to explore every square inch of that ship, and that's what I'll be doing, and getting us photos of anything we don't have, which I don't think there is much of.
And speaking from experience, your job will also be to just be constantly cursing over the fact the Wi-Fi just is not good enough to get stuff uploaded. And
that
the frustration that goes with that.
Yeah, on the Wish, I remember the videos didn't go up for like 3 days.
Very annoying. Mike, I'm guessing the Haunted Mansion would be your pick on this ship.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. All right. So as we said, tons of Disney Wish coverage on our side. We were hoping to have Benji with us today to talk about it, but schedule just didn't work out. He did talk about it with Heather from Mouse Fan Travel, though, so you can go watch that stream on our site. And over the next few weeks, obviously, we'll have a lot more Disney Wish coverage, because when a new cruise ship comes online, Treasure, when a new Disney Treasure, when a new ship comes online, there is nothing more important in the world of Disney.
And Kyle jumps in. You'll have a new chapter of Aquam Mouse to share with everybody when you get back as well, right, Jeremiah?
Yes, and that's the fun one also is writing that. I'm excited to go on the Aquam Mouse because I love that, and that's one of those, yes, I know we're going to have a roller coaster and some flat rides on the adventure, but Aquam Mouse is pure Disney.
Are you going to wear your Disney Wish shirt that they gave you, or are you going to add a new one?
I will definitely take my Disney Wish shirt, but I will hopefully have a Disney Treasure shirt.
Okay.
One would hope.
The rider cam is definitely fun. Look at my knees. Ooh.
There you go.
So much fun. Okay, moving on to Saturn news, probably.
Yeah. So while we were on our trip, the news broke. They finally confirmed where Monsters Inc. Land is arriving. We don't have an official name for it yet, so we're still all referring to it as Monsters Inc. Land. And it's going into the area that is currently occupied by Muppety stuff. So Muppet Vision 3D will be closing. And however, to kind of help you not be so disappointed, we're going to relocate our Muppet pals over to Rock and Roller Coaster, and you'll still be able to find them in Disney Hollywood Studios via that thrill ride. Okay, Celestino, Mike, you're the Muppet guy. Are you excited about the Muppets going to Rock and Roller Coaster? That's the first question.
I am excited. I think it's interesting, not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's interesting that the Muppets are being relocated to an attraction that not everyone can enjoy. Because the Muppets, they really have been mostly for everybody since the very beginning. There are some examples where they skew a little older, but I would call them a family-friendly franchise from very early years. So to have it on a roller coaster that's like teenagers and up, it feels odd to me for that reason, but I'm excited to go on it and check it out. I know I've seen people saying like, oh, I'll walk through the queue and see what the pre-show is like, and then I won't actually board the ride or whatever, because Rock and Roller Coaster is one of the more intense Disney roller coasters, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Counterpoint, kids don't know the Muppets. I mean, it's a cold, hard fact. The kids just don't know the Muppets. If you go to Muppet Vision 3D today, kids are like, I want to go on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I want to go do this. They don't want to sit and watch the Muppets, sadly.
Well, having just been at Disney Hollywood Studios with kids, I don't agree with you. But,
well, no, but the kids are not running to Muppet Vision.
They love Kermit. Kermit's there.
Yeah.
It's Kermit and his friends. They know Kermit.
The average family, the average kid definitely is not it's not like when we were kids and Muppet Vision or Muppet Show, Muppet movies. I mean, it's sad. I'm sad to see it go, but we're all missing the biggest part of that entire announcement.
And
they are working to preserve the film and that attraction.
We're going to bring it up.
Yeah,
Yes, the quote was actually exploring ways to preserve the film and other parts of the experience for fans to enjoy in the future.
And even in their response, the Jim Henson Company referred to the current state that is going away, and that it will have a next chapter, like you said. Yeah.
Yep. Gio, by the way, Gio coming in and saying it's a great place for naps and AC. So there you go.
I mean, obviously, there are plenty of kids who love it, as evidenced by the kids we were there with, and there were some of it. But I think, see your point. There's no venue right now geared towards kids that features the Muppets. I would even say the Muppet thing that was on Disney Plus recently was much more geared towards Muppet fans existing than creating new ones from kids. And even Muppet Babies, I don't think is a thing anymore. So hopefully that gets rectified. I'm just curious, Mike. I like Mike to make proclamations on a scale of I don't care being 1 to I'm so mad I can't see the original Star Wars anymore being 10. Where do you rank your disappointment at never seeing Muppet Vision again?
I don't think I will never see it again, as for the reasons
in its
you just said,
original
but
form in
yeah.
4D in the theater.
It doesn't surprise me. I feel like we all kind of knew it would go away eventually, because it's just not, when I go there and go in the theater at Walt Disney World, it's not full. I know it's not pulling in the crowds that it used to. And I also, a long time ago, accepted that being a theme park fan just means,
True.
you have to accept that nothing is permanent.
Yeah.
So I'm not angry about it. I get it. I knew it was coming eventually, and
Gio,
hopefully
I'm there with you.
yeah,
Sorry.
it'll end up on Disney Plus or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, Gio tossing out there an idea that you see around the web a lot, of the idea of put Muppets over as like kind of doing a tongue-in-cheek history of America dynamic. By the way, regarding the height requirement thing, I mean, we just had Tiana's open with on a height requirement attraction, one of the most recent princesses. So I think it's like I don't know that really matters in the same way. It's okay, because you can go meet and greet her. Similarly, I'm very interested to see kind of what we get in addition, maybe, to this experience that's like that high thrill. What kind of all ages interaction maybe becomes available with the Muppets moving. But for me, I think the thing that kind of gave me a little bit of hope in a way with this announcement was that, okay, I'm gonna say it seems reactionary, the coaster announcement. So, and especially with this very nebulous exploring ways to preserve the film, but that to me means that they have heard the concerns over the preservation of Henson's project, and if perhaps they weren't kind of aware, at least it got to the right ears. And so we had things like this where we're going to see the Muppets still be in Studios Park, and then we also see this quote of exploring ways. So who's to say, but that was kind of what hit me with the announcement while we were out of town.
A couple of quick things. I know we're all presuming they're going to preserve the film, maybe on Disney Plus or something. I hope they also preserve the pre-show, which is at least as entertaining as the film, and make that all available too, because it would be sad to lose all of that. So, and then our own CEO Benji wrote what I thought was a really good article, some advice to Disney on how to do this Muppet coaster, with 4 pieces of advice. Make sure it's as brilliant and witty as Muppet Vision. Bring in the creative talent that truly understands what makes the Muppet special. Supplement it, perhaps a show or something next door so everyone can enjoy, not just coaster fans. And then make what's replacing Muppet Vision so good that people just forget that something was there, which, when you do make it good enough, people do have a way of doing that.
One of the things also, Muppet Vision was a C/D ticket attraction. Muppets are getting an E-ticket attraction, probably one of the biggest E-ticket attractions in Walt Disney World, which really shows that they are doubling down on the Muppets. With the past few years, Jollywood Nights having the Muppet shows. With the villain show that's going in next door, I don't think that we'll see the Muppet Vision go into that theater, but the other talk was them doing stuff in the courtyard and having merchandise and having everything. So I think they definitely have taken into consideration the love. I know personally the entertainment people love the Muppets. That's why they've been fighting to get the Muppets in as much as possible. So everything is exciting. I went and saw the movie again. It's amazing that they just really reinvested a ton of money into that attraction. It looks amazing, and now they're going to close it sometime in the not too distant future.
However, if you look at the artwork for Monsters that's coming, you still see a theater on the concept. So it makes you so now we get to speculate, because we anticipate that the door coaster is that large building, back there in the distance with the Monsters Inc. logo. So now we get to speculate all the other ways Monstropolis is going to be realized in the footprint that is currently Pizza Rizzo and Muppet Vision 3D and Mama Melrose and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I keep saying bring Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, put it in that theater. That way they can clear off a whole new path for New Tomorrowland. But, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if that happens. It's weird. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor to still be in Tomorrowland after this opens would be weird. But yeah, we have Star Tours outside of that. I think it's weird.
Well, that theater is also too large just for Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor.
I think it's weird in Tomorrowland anyway, and then you have a whole land for it, and it's not being used there. I think it's weird. I also want to know, everyone is limiting the Muppets. Has no one checked on Steven Tyler to make sure he's okay?
Well, I think
he's not. He had to retire. His voice.
I think everybody's been awaiting the Aerosmith disappearance because of a variety of factors. They're not touring among them, but a variety of factors, right?
My perfect attraction for a Rock and Roller Coaster is do it completely straight. Do word for word, but have Dr. Teeth doing Steven Tyler, bring back the actress, like have it, and then as soon as you get out of the pre-show area, then it's Muppets wall to wall. Like, don't even change a single of the word, and find some way for Dr. Teeth to go, I love that idea. Just that is. And
bring back the live actor.
Oh yeah,
Sweetums. Can you get my Les Paul? And then
Sweetums has to do something.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh my. Okay. Do we get a rockin' out version of Moving Right Along?
I don't know.
The other kind of weird thing about this is that we had that Electric Mayhem Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
What was that, like a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
And the timing just seems weirdly off. But
I was worried when they announced this before I saw the concept art or the poster that it was just going to be that. And like, you're really going to do the Muppets and not have like Kermit and Piggy and stuff? But it is Kermit and Piggy and the whole gang. It's not just the Muppets Mayhem. So
okay, that's good to hear.
It is a release that would have been weird.
Another quick bit of news from Walt Disney World is that the Premier Pass that had previously been out there for select hotels is now available across the board to Walt Disney World hotel guests. So if you're heading to Walt Disney World, be sure to read up on that. It's not only for the deluxe resorts. So we'll have a link below so that you can make sure to take advantage of that if you are interested.
Unless you're here for the next week and it's all sold out already.
Because you can buy it a week before. It's like a week before your trip is when the window opens. So so if you have an upcoming trip, be sure to check out that information. I think Jeremiah, maybe you got to check out the changes that happened to Soarin' at EPCOT.
Yeah, I headed over there first thing in the morning. They finally updated the end, so you're not flying over the Fountain of the Nations. Looks great. And then the everyone's yelling. They fixed the Eiffel Tower. So when you originally went on the Soarin' Over the World, you flew towards the Eiffel Tower, and light went round once, and then it went round the second time, and you flew in the second time. Now it just hits the first one, so it stops early, so you don't see the full bend, because the pyramids and the Matterhorn both still do their curve if you're in the right seat, just not as prominent as the Eiffel Tower was.
And I can vouch for that, having been at DCA last night and experiencing the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, Gideon was talking about how during our trip to EPCOT, he had like the worst possible seat on Soarin', is like the bottom right seat. Like that's where he was seated at Future World, and then maybe 48 hours later, it was first row middle of Bravo, so the middle section, so like the primo seat, pretty much. When we were at DCA, so he had a fun compare and contrast experience between the two. Also at EPCOT, Glimmering Greenhouses popped up early, and I get to poke fun of Doobie's misspelling of beautiful.
Really had to call that out here, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Jeremiah, have you had a chance to visit it yet? I saw some photos and video popped up on the site.
Yeah, we have the full video of the glimmering greenhouses. Sadly, I'm in the front row, so you can't hear the narration because you have to be in the third row to actually hear the full narration. But we have great video of up close and seeing all the lights. And this wasn't supposed to launch until the 29th, just like Moana wasn't supposed to launch until later this week too. But hey, Christmas, everything comes early.
That was so we happened to be there the day it launched purely by luck. We rode it that first day and got some of those pictures, and our first time seeing this in person. This is a great overlay. This may be the best holiday overlay Disney's ever produced.
Wow, you were completely wrong again, Doobie.
Okay, but it is really, really good.
It is.
Does it always have unique narration, Jeremiah?
No, that narration. So this has been going, I want to say, since 2020. I think this was right out of the pandemic. And then it was just normal. And then they put in the narration. Wasn't last year, so it was probably 2 years ago.
Okay, so it isn't a premiere for that. I wasn't sure if it's something that it had been having or not. I hadn't paid much attention to it, to be honest. It seemed very quaint.
Yeah, and they added the sign this year, which is strange because it's a nighttime overlay, but the sign is on there all day. I mean, I know they have the lights in the tunnels going still, but it's not the prettiest thing during the day.
And
sorry.
Doobie's trying to share video. Do you want me to put it up there?
No, that's okay. Go on.
Okay. Also, Moana has a look based on her upcoming film. I think maybe today it released, or it's coming this week.
D23 had some special events going on today, and then I know that it was, media, all the other stuff. I believe the embargo's lifted today, so everybody's talking about it. Yeah. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't search for Moana 2.
Comes out on Wednesday. Oh, what's that? Oh.
It goes on a trip this time.
And finally,
pigs on the boat.
Pigs on a boat? Is that what it is?
Pigs on a boat.
Better than a blanket.
I guess, is this also your pick, Jeremiah?
Yes, the dedication plaque has been missing from the entrance to the park for a handful of months. I can't really recall the last time I saw it. And then today, just like they put in a lot of the Christmas stuff overnight, this is out there. It's the same dedication plaque, but instead of having the 90s EPCOT logo underneath it, it now has the bold EPCOT, and it's on this beautiful blue display so everybody can see it as you're approaching the park.
Where do you want to go next, Doobie?
So we happen to be leaving the park at park close, which is normal time, during the fireworks. And it was really cool to see that Walt statue at EPCOT, which gets a lot of ridicule. But one of the really cool things is we saw just a bunch of people sitting next to Walt with a decent view of Is it still Harmonious?
No.
Luminous.
Come on. It's like watching Luminous with Walt.
Watching fireworks with Walt.
It's just a bunch of people and Walt. They're just sitting there watching the fireworks. That actually was really, really cool.
It was so adorable.
If you're ever in the area around 9:15 or something, go check that out. It's really cool.
Not anymore. There's a Christmas tree in the way.
No, but they were all. No, you can see them.
They were watching it around the tree.
They were sitting there watching. It was pretty.
Yeah, it was nice. I love that moment, especially for that poor Walt, because other than opening week, I feel like he's just lonely.
Speaking of holidays, Mike, you're not on the West Coast right now, but when you get back, the Pixar Place Hotel, they've debuted their holiday decor because this is their first Christmas season open. Lots
of
fun.
Did you guys take these photos?
You betcha.
Nice.
But
yeah, we had breakfast there yesterday.
We had to eat at the Great Maple because I'm addicted to the food there. But the various Pixar films are represented in a variety of very vibrantly colored Christmas trees. They had some for Lightning McQueen. So you had Cars represented, you had Coco represented. In the atrium, in that entrance lobby, all around I want to call it a portico there. Are garland celebrating the various films. So yeah, just really nice, vibrant, adds a lot of energy to it, and has beautiful ornaments celebrating the various Pixar films. So be sure to check out the article that'll be linked below for more photos and videos. Doobie and I took a ton of them around the lobby there of Pixar Place Hotel.
I also got to see Bing Bong for the first time, and that is one amazing walk around.
It was fun. It was fun to see Bing Bong. Bing Bong, Bing Bong.
That's right.
Okay, Doobie, we've got some interesting news out of Disneyland Paris, and part of the reason we're bringing this to everyone's attention is because they were the first park to try out some other stuff. So I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, Disneyland Paris, and I'm sure Jeremiah can pop in here, but Disneyland Paris is the proving ground, it seems, for interesting ticketing. So, for example, the individual Lightning Lane, which we have now in Disneyland and Disney World, where you just pay one time to go on an attraction, actually started at Disneyland Paris under a different name. Was it the Premier? What was it called there, Jeremiah?
They've changed it so many times. Okay. I don't even remember anymore.
That was the first place where you could, hey, here are my francs. Let me go on. Here are my euros. Let me go on. Let me go on an attraction. Yes, I'm old. So, and now that's here at Disneyland and Disney World. Well, they're trying something even more interesting in Paris now called dynamic pricing, to the point where the price actually changes within the same day, depending on attendance and weather and such. Are you shaking your head?
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying, no, you got that wrong, Doobie. No, I do not have that wrong. So yeah, the price what they do is they give you a range that it will be for that day, and you can certainly buy it ahead of time. But within the day, the price for the day you're purchasing can change. So when you see it, that price will be good for 60 minutes. Make your purchase, because if you don't, it may be a higher price later, potentially a lower price later. I don't know. We'll find out when, as this goes into effect. But can you imagine that? You want to go to Disneyland and the price changes throughout the day? That is some serious dynamic pricing. I know Amazon took some heat. I don't know if they still do it, but back in the day, I could be looking at a product and you could be looking at a product, and the price could be different just because Amazon knows us and kind of knows what we're willing to pay for it.
It makes it feel like an airplane seat.
Yeah, it exactly is.
That's what it was reminding me of as I was reading it. I'm like, oh, this makes it feel like an airplane seat. So I'm interested. Now, right now, this is Disneyland Paris. This is happening at Disneyland Paris, and it's not been announced for coming here or anything like that. We just have noticed that sometimes they'll do things over there, and then we've seen them come here. So we figured, hey, put it out there, let people know that Disneyland Paris is trying something new, and we can pay attention to once it rolls out and see exactly what this dynamic, flexible pricing ends up meaning to the consumer side. On the flip side, I guess the more fun side of being a Disneyland Paris fan.
Oh, you're there.
The weather there. Jeremiah, you've experienced this.
I experienced small flurries when I woke up and saw the videos coming out of there of like real snow. I was just so jealous. The ambassadors, who are great people, seen this video, and then I looked at them and could only imagine how cold they actually are.
Okay. So Mike, let me ask you, I kept seeing on Twitter so many people watching this video and saying, bucket list. When you look at that video, is that what you think? Do you think Disney in the full-blown snowstorm? Yes, sign me up. I want to give it a try.
I have literally had dreams about being at Disneyland Paris in the snow, based on having seen stuff like this happen before. But yeah, I would really, really love to be there for that.
I will tell you, it's really cool for the first few hours. and then you just want to go inside and sit by a fire.
I am so on an island with this. Like Nikki B comes in and says, "So awesome!" Like I say, my timeline was just full of people. Oh, this wonderful, blah blah blah. And I'm just thinking, no, I would power through. I would make the best of a really awful situation. But no, I have no interest in this whatsoever. None. Pretty from afar. None.
I'm sorry, hon. I have so much interest in this. This
the
is
pictures
so cool.
of Skull Rock with the snow on it and the beach there, like that. It's my dream to take pictures of all of that and video. But from the experience I had last year, where hey, it's snowing. This is great. It's cold, and then the second day, I'm like, okay.
You should have seen me last night in Anaheim. It was probably a balmy 58 degrees. I'm sitting there with a hot buttered bourbon trying to keep warm in California Adventure.
Amazon does have electric hand warmers on sale for their Black Friday sale this week.
I own 2 pair of hand warmers that I use for when mom duty requires me to sit outside for long periods of time in the winter.
I don't know why Mike is so jealous of Disneyland Paris snow. Lest we forget, Mike experienced snow at Disneyland. This is Mike's video, Disneyland Anaheim.
I'm told this was, what was it, Scrapple? What was it called? Snapple?
I'm pretty sure it's not Snapple.
Snapple.
What is this called? It snowed. I know you got
the blue sky right there.
You got treated very kindly on Twitter, calling it snow, as I recall.
Yes, people were so considerate and gentle in their education on weather terms.
I lucked out with mine, Mike. It was like the middle of the night and nobody was paying attention.
The snow does not seem to be, what is the word, attaching? Grapple.
Thank you, Nikki B.
Grappo?
But that does not look exciting. That just looks miserable cold. But the actual snow in Disneyland Paris, I would love to experience that for like 30 minutes. That would be so amazing. And then back inside.
During our recent trips to the Disney parks, we got to see what, for me, announce that the holidays have officially arrived in both coasts. At Disneyland, it is when the little man of Disneyland puts up his decorations. This is when I have decided that the Christmas season is official at the Disneyland Resort. While on the East Coast, it is all about the Ornament Kickline at Disney Hollywood Studios. And so I was very grateful that Disney kindly had both premiere during our recent visit. So thank you.
I really wish they'd turn those back to red and white.
I do too.
Gold is...
I do too. But I'm just glad they're there. I'm not going to complain too much because I'm just happy they're there.
I am so impressed that Disneyland not only has the little man of Disneyland, but decorates his house for Christmas, or lets him decorate his house for Christmas. That is such an amazing little detail.
So I found out who was the driving force behind bringing the little man of Disneyland to that tree. That was the head of the Walt Disney Archives, Miss Becky Klein. Was the one who pushed that. Yes.
Aww.
And then I also found out, do you guys remember ever hearing the story of how he originally had a house on an island in Adventureland and Disneyland years and years and years ago?
No, Jeremiah.
So there's everybody said, oh, he originally had a house. The planters, when you're walking into Adventureland, that's closer to the exit of Jungle Cruise, they used to have that planter, and they had to cut down the size of it, and everybody's like, oh, well, he had a house there. No, that house never existed. And the reason that rumor started was also Walt Disney Archivist Becky Klein. She told me. But she's like, yep, I was the driving force behind bringing that back. I was like,
and if you don't know about the Little Man of Disneyland, may I point you to the Golden Book that shares the story of the Little Man of Disneyland. This was actually published back in 1955. It is still available. You can get it in hardcover. You can get it in Kindle. I'm sure you can probably get it over with
just feel like Kindle isn't the way to go for a little golden book.
Oh, it's nice though because it doesn't take up room on the shelf.
Audiobook.
Okay.
Can we see that Amazon? I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we see that Amazon again?
Yeah, sure.
Are you able to zoom in on the actual image, the book itself? Yeah, there you go. Mike, approve of Donald?
He's happy. Mike doesn't.
Far too happy. Far too happy.
That's what I thought. Okay.
He should be yelling at that little leprechaun to give him his pot of gold.
So we have someone asking if anyone is up to save Muppet Vision 3D. I won't answer on behalf of all of you, but I will share with Team Husted Central that when I was a child and I had a favorite ride at Disneyland, and one day I showed up and it was gone.
Adventures Through Inner Space?
And it was called Adventures Through Inner Space. And I was disappointed because it just disappeared. I had no knowledge or expectation until I showed up expecting to ride it, and I couldn't. Similarly, America Sings went away. Thankfully, Adventures Through Inner Space was replaced by Star Tours, which was my favorite attraction for the longest time. So I kind of don't fall into the save an attraction camp just because of that was what Disneyland was for me. I like stuff. It may or may not be there when I go again. So I guess I kind of was always like, oh yay, it's still there.
I became a Disneyland fanatic in 1995, and there is no question my absolute favorite attraction was the People Mover, and I used to ride it multiple times every single time I went to the park. And one day I happened to notice, hey, people are being walked off the People Mover. It broke down, as it did a lot. And it just, one day that happened and it never reopened. And
Doobie, speaking of that, you should bring up the Twitter from earlier today.
As Rebecca said, we are quite used to stuff closes, you move on. And people, there has never been a Save This Attraction campaign like there was for Mr. Toad.
Oh,
and Mr. Toad is gone. Woo. So if you wanna engage in that, feel free, but you know.
And I'll jump on the bandwagon of Walt said it. You know,
what am I bringing up for you?
Disneyland is not a museum. Everything changes, and you know, Walt would be rolling in his grave if Walt was still around. That attraction is 33 years old. That would have been gone many, many moons ago. It was one of the
maybe not
one of the tweets from Magic Kingdom.
Oh, the crowds.
Yeah,
I guess that too. Walt always talked about how one of the fun things about Disneyland was that it wasn't like a film where you put it in a can and you can't do anything with it.
It's one of the next ones, Dewey.
Yeah, so
it's the sign that is too busy.
Wow,
this is so funny. Our experience at Disney,
we were just there.
It was dead. But then Monday came. Thanksgiving week is actually here. We had such an empty time at the park. It was
so quiet when we were there.
No,
it was so quiet.
Doobie, it's one of the next tweets.
Oh wow!
Like it is clearly it.
Wow.
There you go.
Oh, People Mover! Look at that.
The line starts here.
Yes.
Maybe if it were Disneyland, it ain't worth it for Disney World. Speaking of Disneyland versus Disney World, let me give you some more opinion from Doobie here. We got to ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure yesterday. And we've ridden it at Disney. I've ridden it at Disney World 3 times. Rebecca, I believe, has ridden it once. And I rode it at Disneyland. And I just have to say, it is way better at Disneyland.
So better.
So much better. It just flows. It's almost as if it was made for Disneyland. And then which is a short track. And then the places in Disney World, they just put in dead space in between because it just flows at Disneyland so well.
I am eager for more sleep and a chance to sit and look at like videos and photographs of one to the other, because having been somebody who studied, you know, kind of like TV and movies, it felt like the dynamics of when you hear about a movie that was saved in the editing room. that was how the comparison for me between the two. I'm like, this must be what that is like to have all this footage and then to end up with this completed project versus what so I'm very curious as to why. What is it? Why is it that one is so much fun, and I left like da 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 da, like all hyped and like ready to go to a party, whereas the other one left me really really flat. And it was the first time I'd ridden it, whereas this one was, you know, I'd already kind of experienced the pieces before. So you look like you were gonna ask something, Mike.
I was gonna say I kind of tried to ask the Imagineer, Carter. What's her first name? Sharita.
Yeah.
Sharita.
At the Tiana media event a couple weeks ago, because you feel like, okay, both versions of Splash Mountain were very different, and in Walt Disney World it had extra little moments. Like there was Brer Rabbit, he was on like one of those things on a railroad track, right? We didn't have that at Disneyland.
No, you had
So
it at Disneyland. We had the hopping Brer Rabbit.
Yeah, hop hop hop.
Oh, sorry, I got it backwards.
Yeah. You're in captivity.
But like, I guess the question I tried to ask is like, what did they try to do to account for those differences in the ride layout? But I got a very like, of course, you always get these like stock corporate answers to questions like that.
So I'm really
good question though. Good question.
But I'm curious, like even just some of the set pieces, I'm interested to see if they're like, are they closer to me? But another example for me of this is Main Street Electrical Parade. The Main Street Electrical Parade, for me, plays so much better at Disneyland than it does on Main Street at Magic Kingdom. And my assumption is that has to do with the scale, because Main Street is so much wider at Magic Kingdom. The buildings are so much taller at Magic Kingdom, and that parade didn't change size or shape. And so things like that, I'm curious, like, I know there's the Critter Band. How is the Critter Band staged at this attraction and experienced at this attraction versus the other one? Because it made a bigger impression on me here than it did in Florida.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, so like I say, when I've had actual sleep as opposed to the 3.5 hours that are preceding this, I want to check it out.
So since we're here though, and I'm the guy that prefers Magic Kingdom to Disneyland, so I am not here to rip on Magic Kingdom. Nevertheless, Country Bears is bad.
He didn't like it at all, you guys.
You were so wrong, Doobie.
It was funny.
The new Country Bear show, The Country Bear Does Disney, is not good. That's all I got to say.
He didn't care for it.
I have no bitterness over the Jamboree leaving. I fully expected to walk in there and love this show. I've heard great things about it. This is not at all sour grapes. Let's go in there and rip on them, taking out the classic and putting in this Disney. I went in there, sat down, folded my hands and go, I'm going to be so entertained by all this Disney music. And it is just plain bad.
I'll be a good litmus test for that.
So yeah, Mike?
I haven't watched any video of the new show, and I think we were there in January of this year, right before it closed. So I got to do the original Country Bear Jamboree one last time, and we have no plans to go to Walt Disney World right now. But when I eventually do, I will let you know my thoughts.
I want to experience it with a full theater because we went later in the day, like evening, and so it was I would say like 1/3 full as opposed to 3/4 or
the energy is amazing in there.
And that's what I'd like to see because
Doobie's not there.
Yeah, there was nobody who was clapping along and enjoying themselves when we saw it. Everybody there was just dead tired at the end of the day. And so I want to experience it with the audience that's into it, as we were saying, because the energy of the room can really impact the performers and how they,
I felt like Big Al just didn't have it that day, and maybe it's because he wasn't feeling it there are so many people I respect who like that attraction as well as Jeremiah. So I fully feel, I could be wrong on this. I will give it another chance. I will try to do it at a more popular time. I want to like this. I might be wrong, just like I was about the Disney Cruise Line song, which I didn't like the first time. So I will give it another chance. But my feeling walking out of there was they had some bad song choices. Big Al did not get enough time. And the biggest deal was the dialogue in that show is just so poor.
Big Al's time is almost the exact same as original.
He gets 2 lines, then he gets kicked out. Maybe it's the same time, but he says that he only gets 2 lines, and he's like sniffing it and stuff. And
my favorite. Okay,
the
wait.
worst part is the violin guy. What's his name?
Ernest.
Ernest, the violinist.
This was so funny.
It's the best part of the show.
Fiddle.
So funny.
You say tomato, I say tomato. He is the best part of the show. He is good. He is good. I don't know if he went to Juilliard or what, but he is really good. And I was enjoying his fiddling. And it was interrupted by these people behind me who just kept talking and would not shut up. Those people were Max Bupp and Melvin. Why are they talking during the best part of the show? It was driving me up the wall.
Did you listen to their jokes?
Yeah, and it wasn't funny because the dialogue is bad. I'd rather just hear him fiddle. So I was so annoyed by that. Also, I love the Liverpool song that was the highlight. No, I'm sorry. What's his name now?
Romeo.
I love the
Kiss
Romeo
the Girl.
song. Kiss the Girl was my favorite song. But the fact that Max Buff and Melvin wouldn't shut up while I'm trying to listen to the best part of the show was driving me up the wall.
Can you go listen to the original show?
I can't believe he was so frustrated by that.
Will you guys be quiet? That's a part of the show?
It was so funny.
Question.
Yes, Mike.
Yes, Mike.
Country Bear Jamboree, Tokyo Disneyland. Is it in English?
It's half and half.
It's parts.
Yeah, it's mostly in Japanese, but a couple of the songs are in English.
I have it on cassette tape from my trip that I went there. I bought
cassette tape. No way to play it, but you have it.
But it's closer to the original version.
Oh, it is the original version.
Yeah.
They changed like 1 or 2 of the songs because it didn't translate well. But yeah, you can actually, when Henry is talking and singing, they had to speak Japanese quicker to keep up with the music. And there are times where you can just hear it's off because of that.
Well, I will probably get to do that in April.
Yay! I'm excited to hear Mike's thoughts on Tokyo. So eventually Doobie and I would like to get together and share with y'all the adventures we had, because we got to experience Lighthouse Point. Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
I need to say something positive about Disney World. I feel dirty.
What?
I don't know. Something good. What's a good thing that we did?
We did lots of good things.
I know. Give me one. I feel very, very icky now. I'm not a negative guy.
Your son rode Dinosaur for a good portion of a day.
41 times in a row. He rode Dinosaur 41 times. And the best part of that story, he was not the highest rider that day. He met someone in line whose record is 112, but had over 60 that day.
He's the John Hale of Dinosaur.
Exactly. He has a shirt on that celebrates his 112
with all of his
days.
photos from the day he hit at one. It was pretty cool. It was pretty wild.
Yes.
So did they let him stay on, or did he have to get off? Was there a line?
Towards the end of the day, when there wasn't a queue, they didn't make him fully exit.
But for the most part, he had to, which means you have to do the pre-show every single time.
Oh my gosh.
But his goal, Dinosaur, this could be his last chance. We don't know when we'll be back. He doesn't know when it's going away. So he's like, let me do it all I can. And I got him there. I think his first ride was about 10 minutes after the park opened. I went on the first one with him. And then his last one, he got off just after, the park closed. And he only took a break to wolf down some pizza, about a 20-minute break. We brought him some pizza. And other than that, that's my boy.
I don't know how I can't even do that ride. I can barely do that ride back to back. It's just too much for me. Too loud, too darkness. But no.
Is the dinosaur eating the other one back in?
No,
okay,
absolutely not.
It's been out.
He tried to convince me yesterday while we were at Disneyland.
Ollie Ramos, there it is.
That Dinosaur is better than Indiana Jones. I might have him committed.
Hold on. I love Gideon, and I understand that his parents have put this mindset in him. You're going to have him committed because he thinks one ride is better than the other. Not the fact that he went on it 41 times. What's the record for the canoes? What was that, like 20 some odd times?
What's your record for the canoes?
Only 23.
23. So, yeah.
Men in Black 37.
Oh, Men in Black 37.
37.
He's a very easy kid to take to the theme park. You just put him somewhere, Go off and have fun. Get them at the end of the day.
Well, we remember way back when. way back when we used to have it really easy because you would ride Great Movie Ride with him for a while, then we'd switch off and I would ride Great Movie Ride with him for a while. It was a nice long experience. We didn't have to go anywhere.
And we were talking about crowds. He was able to do that. I think that was 3 days ago. You know, and I think he said his longest wait was 15 minutes. I'm imagining that is not the case today over in Animal Kingdom. Yeah.
By the way,
very excited. We don't know when he'll be back. Goes back 2 weeks from now.
One of the things, Juby, that we both experienced for the first time this year was the Merry Menagerie.
Yes, and that was
the Merry Menagerie.
What I didn't expect, because I've just seen pictures, I haven't watched videos, is how adorable the cast members are when they talk to you about the menagerie. Mm-hmm. That was so cute. I love that. Yes, very nice.
So
I feel clean again. Thank you.
No worries. Helping you out. Do you guys have anything else that you want to make sure we highlight from your adventures the past few days? Mike Celestino, I'll ask you.
I don't remember the last time I was in a theme park.
Okay, yeah. No, it's that time of year when we're all visiting family and doing that kind of stuff. Jeremiah, what about you?
I was in a theme park about an hour ago. No, I think we've hit everything. I mean, we're hitting that point where it slows down. Friday starts the Festival of Holidays at EPCOT. I really just want to know one thing. The walk, Doobie. Tell me about the walk.
All right. So we went on the Disney Dream, which included a stop at Lookout Point, Castaway Cocoa, whatever it's called. And my introduction was, I love to get up early, go up to
the deck
cabanas and get breakfast. That's how I love to start every day on the ship. And we had to walk across because our room was forward. And you look out and go, yep, that's the bridge. We're up on, walking on deck 11, looking down at the island and just seeing that long walk all the way to it. It looks so intimidating when you see it from that angle. And then the walk itself. So it's hard for me to say just for myself because obviously my wife has mobility issues and that plays a big part into it. It did not feel as long as I expected it to feel. That said, and let me clarify, I had no intention of swimming. I wore tennis shoes both ways, and the weather was, if anything, a tad bit cold. It did feel like on a normal warm day, after a day of swimming, I would have been cursing the world walking back from the island.
As somebody who spent the entire day on the island in aqua shoes and walked back in aqua shoes in a normal day, not too bad. But at least you are not like it is the worst thing in the world like you originally were.
It might be. I couldn't give it a fair shake. It makes me not want to do it. If we ever get the opportunity to go back to that island, and I don't know if we ever will, although I think it's fairly likely, and it is a warm day, I think there is every chance I will just skip it because I don't want to do the walk.
Yep. Agreed.
And that coupled with the fact that the island itself for me was underwhelming.
Yeah.
If the island itself was spectacular, I'm sure I'd figure out a way. But the island itself, to me, the difference in it and Castaway Cay is just, I'm sure there are people who appreciate this, and I can see it's going after something different. And I'm glad they didn't just clone Castaway Cay because that would have been dumb. But for me, there's no question where my preference is.
Yeah. I mean, the beach and the water is breathtaking on Lookout Point, but yeah, Castaway is the way to go.
Yeah, I didn't find it breathtaking. It was nice. No, I mean it was a nice beach, but I don't know. For me, Castaway Cay is breathtaking. Yeah. This beach was a nice beach. The one thing that really surprised me was that given a lot of the choices were ecologically based, that there wasn't a lot of visual education of your guests, of the people walk. For example, there's that big, huge, long walk. And the reason why it's the big, huge, long walk is for ecological reasons. And I was just kind of surprised that there weren't signs along the way, to give you something to look at other than the view, to just kind of learn why you're walking this long walk instead of taking a tram or even just little tidbits about the area or something. That kind of surprised me since it is like such an expanse of concrete between you and the
Yeah,
the
like
shore.
talk about the coral reef. Did you guys do the nature trail?
No way.
I
What did you
couldn't.
think after that walk?
I was done. They didn't even have very many seats for me to rest by the time I got to a location when I needed it. So yeah, I'm not a big I'm not a big fan right now.
So Jeremiah, you say the beach is spectacular. This is not a spectacular beach. Maybe it has this people. I don't like all this grass. I don't like all the.
Oh no, I'm talking about the actual beach into the water.
Yeah, but this is a part of it. This is what I didn't like.
Jimmy doesn't like sand, so he doesn't do the beach.
But if I'm going to be in the sand, I want the sand.
rough.
I don't want
everywhere.
grass mixed with sand. I don't want this seaweed stuff mixed with sand. Just give me the sand and the beach. It's just too natural. Make it fake. You don't go to Disney for natural. You go to the real world for natural. I want Disney fake.
Good night, folks.
So yeah, so it's not for us. But however, I will say the family we were traveling with
loved it.
They enjoyed this much more than Castaway Cay.
So
it was much more to their taste than Castaway Cay is. So I mean,
and we were there for the holidays. So if you want to see Lighthouse Point's debut holiday season, go check that out on Laughing Place.
We've got the holiday decor. So we did not talk about the Destination D news. That'll be on the horizon. Those tickets aren't going to be available for a little bit. So we'll talk about that when we're not so snarky because we've had sleep.
And I'm sure we'll be talking about it tomorrow on the return of the Disney Morning Show. Doobie is anti-nature. More accurate words have never.
You have no spoken. Idea, Nikki B. No idea.
Yeah. I love pristine. I hate sand. I hate nature.
If you gave him a choice between the redwoods and Coruscant, he would choose Coruscant.
Every time. Oh, Coruscant. I choose Coruscant over almost anything. It is just
indoor in Coruscant.
You know the most beautiful scene in Star Wars. The most beautiful scene in the whole Star Wars saga is the indoor section of the planet where they make the clones, where the funny-looking lady's like walking down.
That's not indoor.
Camino.
That's good. That's very good, Jeremiah. That is a beautiful setting. That's a nice setting.
Only second to Andor's prison.
I love Andor's prison.
I know you do. I wasn't lying.
Would you voluntarily live in that prison?
No, because he has to walk too much. Oh.
We can't all be in Jeremiah's shape, Mr. I don't even want to walk up the treehouse.
I did. When it reopens, I'll walk up it again. And
oh my goodness!
Right.
I missed
anyway,
you. Oh God, this is fun.
Anyway, I'm glad you're enjoying this, Nikki B. We're having a good time. Hate sand, and yet, see, Vegas knows how to do it. You take a desert, you get rid of all the desert, and you build just nice digital and concrete and all that. That's what I love about
Vegas. Never
Vegas.
see sand when he's
in Paradise and put up a parking lot. Exactly.
Doobie's dream.
That is my paradise.
Don't you have to go home, Doobie?
Yep.
Shopping malls.
Yep.
Those don't exist anymore either.
All right. Go for it, Rebecca. You can close us out.
Alexa, you have never been more true. Yes.
You were giving an order to Alexa.
I know. Why, thank you, Rebecca.
Oh man!
I'm sorry.
We will have links below to the various articles that have been put together here on Laughing Place Photos. There's lots of videos of the Disney Treasure christening, all kinds of holiday coverage. If you're not making it over to the parks during this holiday season, we have it.
There's nothing left for Mike or I to cover.
We've got photos and video of all the holiday fun coming to you from the park. So be sure to check it out. Doobie and Kyle will be back tomorrow with the morning show. So if you've missed their hilarity in the morning, they're back. And
2 days.
And Becca and I will be around for some merchandise talk later in the day. And Doobie, do you plan to do some Disney trivia tomorrow night?
Absolutely.
So if you want to compete and show off your Disney trivia knowledge, be sure to come back to this channel, hit subscribe, and then you'll get notified when we go live. Sometimes Jeremiah wanders the park. When Mike isn't visiting family, sometimes he wanders the park.
Friday, I'll actually be at EPCOT for Festival of the Holidays. We'll be walking that park elbow to elbow. So join me. 2:00 Eastern, 11:00 Pacific.
So you can see some midday fun. We know a lot of streamers like to be there in the evening towards nighttime. We like to be there during midday, so come check it out.
Nobody wants to be there on Friday.
So thanks everybody for joining us. I think that's it, right, Doobie?
I think that's it. Please, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. Happy to be back doing the morning show with Kyle. Join us.
Bye.